ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवम् साधवेतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्येश्वरं गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for joining. Let's continue our study of Nectar of Instruction. We are reading verse 2 and we were reading the purport. I think we have read half the purport. We'll continue with the rest of the half today. But let's recite this verse. So this is a memory verse, easy to memorize. If you see only two main words in each line, and the Shadbir Bhakti Vinashyati is very easy to memorize. So let's continue. I'll say it one time and then whoever has memorized or whoever wants to recite, please go ahead. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpa prajalpo niyamagraha Jansangascha lolyam cha
लौल्यं च
Shadbir Bhakti Vinashyati
षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति.
Okay, who wants to recite? And we'll follow after you. Let's do
I
at least.
can try, Mataji.
Yes, Rekha Mataji, and then who said? Sheetal Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Rekha Mataji, then Sheetal Mataji. Please go ahead.
अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जानसङ्गश्च लौल्यं च सद्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति.
अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसंगाश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति.
Who has memorized and wants to say from their memory?
I can say.
Yes. We'll recite after you.
Okay. You want to change the screen?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha jansangascha lolyam cha Shadbhir Bhakti Vinashyati.
Who else has memorized? Okay. If
Can
not,
I try, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, please try.
Hare Krishna. Atyahara prayasascha
Atyahara
प्रयासश्च
प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह
प्रजल्पो
Prajapurniamagraha
जनसंगस्य लौल्यं च
जनसंगश्च लौल्यं च
षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति
षड्भिर्भक्ति विनश्यति।
Vinashati. Hari Hari. Very nice. Wonderful. So let's discuss this. Since we've covered already one class, so I will just quickly summarize what we discussed. So atyahar means overindulgence, over-accumulation, excessive accumulation of whether food, eating too much food. Ahar typically means food. So it could mean exactly food. So ahar means food, but ahar can also mean ahar for our senses, mind, intelligence. So too much ahar, too much feeding your senses. It could be other senses also. So too much collecting. It could be too much money, too much property, even too much unnecessary, comforts, very complicated living. Basically, Prabhupada describes atyahar means very complicated living. It should be simple living. Atyahar means like consumerism, a lot of things. So that is atyahar. Prayas means over endeavoring, excessive endeavor for mundane things. For mundane means ordinary. For material. So material means ordinary things or mundane things. So excessive endeavor in this word, putting excessive efforts. And prajalpa means, so we are discussing, there are 6 things that destroy bhakti. This verse is describing 6 things. Shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. 6 things that will destroy your bhakti. One is atyahar, overindulgence, over accumulation. Prayas, too much endeavor, too much effort in this world. Prajalpa. Prajalpa means, again, mundane, ordinary conversation like gossiping, spreading rumors, spreading, false information like that, or just mundane talk, ordinary talk, ideal talk. So wasteful talk, that is prajalpa. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha has 2 meanings depending on how you do the sandhi vichhed of this word. If you say niyam plus agraha, then it means, so you see A has a diacritic on it. That means agraha. Then it has a different meaning. Or if you say niyama plus agraha, bina diacritic ke, agraha, then it has a different meaning. So with diacritic, agraha means a stickler for rules, just sticking to the rules without understanding the principle, compromising the principle and just sticking to the rule. That is niyam agraha. Niyam agraha, we have not discussed this, so we'll discuss this today. Agraha means whimsically neglecting the rule. You have all the capabilities to follow the rules and injunctions, the instructions, yet whimsically not following them, rejecting a rule, just avoiding to follow a rule without any proper reasoning or understanding. That is agraha. And sticking too much to the rule means agraha. That is agraha. So that is niyamagraha. So niyamagraha has 2 meanings. Jansanga. Jansanga means sangha or association of jan. Jan means ordinary people, mundane people, materialistic people, worldly minded people that are not like-minded in devotional service, that are not striving for a spiritual path or devotional path. So that is Jansanga. जैसे अभी हमने सॉन्ग किया ना, रामचंद्र संगा मांगे नरोत्तम दास, बट हम किसका संगा मांग रहे हैं? ऑफ ऑर्डिनरी पीपल, मंडेन पीपल. That is Janasanga. Lolyam. Lolyam means, the word lolyam itself means greed. So again, greed or longing or craving for this world, like to make a name in this world, to get fame in this world, to get appreciation from this world, to get accolades from this world. That is lolyam. So greed or longing, ardent longing, very strong craving for this world. That is lolyam. So these things are all talking about materialistic things. Okay, remember this. Somebody can say, shouldn't we have greed for Krishna? Shouldn't we have greed for Harikatha? Shouldn't I be greedy to attend each and every class? Shouldn't I be greedy to get association of devotees? Yes, those things you should be greedy for. This is talking about Jan Sangha. This is not saying Vishnu Jan Sangha. This is not saying ki association of devotees should be avoided. This is saying association of mundane people. So when we, in these initial verses of Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami is teaching us what materialistic things to avoid or how one should live in this world. So the way I understand these verses is, the first verse, Nectar of Instruction, first verse was Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udar Upastha Vegam. So that was talking about controlling your body, mind, and words. So if you think about it, the soul, the jiva, is stuck in two places. The first place it is stuck is in this body. Okay. So the first verse tells you how the soul should live in this body. Okay. So how to conduct your body, how to conduct your mind, because we are stuck in gross and subtle body. So how we should conduct through our gross and subtle body. So we should have control on our body, mind, and words. We should have regulated our body, mind, and words. So how the soul should live properly in this body in such a way that our life in this body is conducive for spiritual growth, so we can grow spiritually. Okay, we don't use this body for materialistic purposes. We use this body as a tool for spiritual growth. How to use this body for spiritual growth in a way that is conducive for spiritual growth? That first verse told us, by Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarupastha Vegam. Now, the second verse tells us how to live in this world, because Jiva, the soul, is stuck in this body, and Jiva is also stuck in this world. So, how to live in this world? How much to engage with this world? And we discussed that we have to live in this world very carefully. We have to have very mindful, very careful dealings with this world, not reckless dealings, but very careful dealings with this world. Otherwise, the world will overcome us. Otherwise, the world will overpower us. We will succumb to the temptations of this world if we are not living in this world carefully. So the second verse tells us how to live in this world very carefully. How much to engage? How much to engage? We are not saying cut off completely. We're not saying go to forest. That is the beauty of these verses. They are telling you, you should live in this body. You should use your body, mind, and words. You should live in this world. You should use this world, but use it in such a way that it is conducive for your spiritual growth. It does not hinder your growth, rather it helps you grow. Right now, the way we are living is, we are living in a very materialistic way. We are letting the matter, the world, overcome us, overpower us, and we have become its victim. We have become its slave. So, but Jiva is very strong spiritual entity. It should have power over this body and in this world. It should not become a victim of this world and this body. So, Rup Goswami is empowering us how to live in this body and in this world in such a way that growth happens for the soul. Not that we fall down into hellish planets and hellish species, rather we grow to the next level. So we have to step over this world, not let the world step over us. So we have to deal with this world very carefully. So these verses I really like, because they're very practical. They teach us how to live in this body and in this world, the first two verses. So it tells us how much to take from this world. Atyahar, ahar karna hai, लेकिन अति आहार नहीं करना, एक्सेसिव आहार नहीं करना. दुनिया से लेनी है चीजें, but only to the extent that it helps the jiva to grow spiritually. उतना या materially you maintain your body and soul together, बस उतना ही लेना है. Don't take so much from the world that you become addicted to or become a slave of those things that you're taking from this world. So अति आहार नहीं करना, पर आहार करना है. प्रयास नहीं करना. Like, you have to make efforts in this world to keep the body and soul together, to maintain a good Krishna conscious lifestyle. To even maintain that lifestyle, one has to work. To maintain your dependents, you have to work to get them a good education, good basic functioning in this world, in this body also we have to make efforts. But utna effort karna hai, over effort nahi karna. You don't need to try to please this world too much. You don't need to try to impress this world too much. प्रयास नहीं करना. इसी तरीके से प्रजल्पा, talk to the extent that it will be helpful for everybody, which we have already discussed in the last verse. Vacho Vegam, that was controlling your tongue. So prajalpa is on the same line. How much you talk with people, what you talk, in such a way that it helps in the growth in your growth, in the other person's growth, and not causes any damage. Otherwise, prajalpa is a very big danger. Prajalpa is actually very, very disturbing and dangerous to personal growth and to the other people. So prajalpa, avoid karna. Excessive interaction with this world needs to be avoided through various means. It can be through talking. Prajalpa can be through media, through internet, through TV. However you get influence from this world, that is prajalpa. However you hear the conversations of the worldly minded people, that is prajalpa. Niyamagraha, we will discuss in detail because this is the most difficult for people to understand. We will go into details how sometimes following the rules can destroy the bhakti. Being a stickler to the rules can also destroy the bhakti. And we already know that not following the rules can definitely destroy bhakti. But also following the rules too strictly can also destroy the bhakti. So we'll understand this in detail. Jana Sangha, we already know we should associate with like-minded people, people who are striving, who are aspiring for a spiritual advancement, for Krishna consciousness, for devotional path, for upliftment on devotional path, and not worldly-minded people, because they will influence you, they will overpower you, they will start preaching to you instead of you preaching to them. So Jana Sangha also has to be avoided. And lolyam, meaning too much. Again, lolyam and prayas are sort of similar. Atyahar, prayas, and lolyam sort of go together. Too much greed for this world, too much engagement in this world is lolyam. But all these 6 things will destroy the bhakti. A point that I want to impress upon all of you, which I discussed last time, that atyahar leads to prayas. Okay, atyahar means over accumulating. So when somebody is trying to accumulate too much in this world, they're trying to collect too much, then they will have to also work extra hard. They'll have to do prayas also extra hard. So prayas is called prayas. Atyahar is atyahar when there is prayas. Okay. So, and I was giving an example that in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are examples of many great wealthy kings that were also spiritually advanced people. They were actually pure devotees of the Lord, like starting from Pandavas or Amrish Maharaj, Mother Kunti. They were all very wealthy people. They were all very materially endowed people. They had a lot of property, lot of wealth, a lot of servants serving them, a lot of land, so many things they had, right? So they did not have a very simple lifestyle. So somebody can say, how was their bhakti not destroyed? Wasn't it atyahar? Weren't they over accumulating? But like I said, atyahar is atyahar when there is prayas. Okay, so for them to have those many things, those many that much land, wealth, property, etc., was not prayas. So atyahar and prayas is different for different people. We cannot go about and start judging people based on this. Okay. Another rule of scriptures is that whenever we read these verses, the rule should be applied on yourself, not on other people. So you do not use these verses as a weapon against other people to judge them. Rather, you use it as an instrument to improve yourself. So you're not going to judge devotees based on, how much property or how many things they have or how much money they have or how much degrees they have, how come that is not atyahar? Because atyahar and prayas is different for different people. For some people, they may not have to work too much. They may not have to, change their lifestyle. They may not have to over endeavor in this world to get the same amount of things. So, जैसे कि किसी की अगर सैलरी let's say 100,000 है, वो उससे अगर उस 100,000 से अगर $100 की कोई चीज लेता है, then that is not atyahar for him because he did not have to work extra hard to get that thing. But if somebody's salary is $1,000 और वो उससे $100 की चीज या $500 है और वो उससे $100 की चीज लेता है, then for that person it is atyahar because he's going to have to make up for that money that he spent. He's going to have to work extra hard in this world. So atyahar and prayas is very individual. Okay, all these things actually, they're very individual. And this is another beauty of our scriptures of Vedic path, that that the devotional service, the spiritual realizations, the spiritual path is also very individual. It is not that it is very personal, it is very individual, meaning uh, what may be right for one person may not be right for the other person, depending on his time, place, circumstances, situation, his external circumstances, his upbringing, his previous notions, previous conceptions. Based on those things, Vedas have given different. That's why Vedas are all encompassing. They have given so many paths. So even in the highest concepts of devotional service, some not same rule can be applied to everyone. Okay, not same rule can be applied to everyone. It's like अगर किसी की अगर एक हम बोलते हैं कि 3 रोटी खाना इज गुड, एवरेज है 3 रोटी, लेकिन अगर मेरी बॉडी छोटी है तो मैं शायद 1 या 2 रोटी खा के ही मेरा काम चल जाएगा, आई विल बी गुड. ओके, सो 3 रोटी में भी अत्याहार फॉर मी. बट अगर किसी की बड़ी बॉडी है, लाइक somebody is very tall and muscular and very big built, then maybe he needs to eat 6 rotis to fulfill him, to nourish him. Otherwise it will be otherwise it will be less for him. He will be getting less nutrition. So for him even 6 roti is not atyahar. So in this way we have to understand that prayas, atyahar and prayas is called atyahar and prayas when it starts causing imbalance between your material and spiritual life. So you have to see how much endeavor you are putting in this material world. If you are putting a lot of endeavor in this material world, then that is prayas, because it is adversely affecting your spiritual life. So prayas is prayas when it starts affecting negatively your spiritual life. Okay, when it starts negatively impacting your spiritual life. So there are some people who work a lot in this world, but they're also able to manage their spiritual activities very nicely. Like they're very active in the devotional communities, chanting properly and reading and hearing and everything. So then their work is not prayas. But somebody else who may not be as, they're depending on their work, depending on their talent, depending on their efficiency, their workflow, their system they are plugged into, they may be, if they work that much, they may be compromising their spiritual activities. So in this way, we have to decide for ourselves what is prayas for me and what is atyahar for me. Okay. So if you are taking very extra engagements in this world and not able to balance your spiritual activities with it, then that is atyahar and prayas. Okay. But if there is no prayas, typically there is not much atyahar either. Okay, so this is something we discussed, and we discussed the concept of becoming addicted to work, becoming addicted to like workaholic ho jana, because you're just seeking satisfaction from work. That is what is defining your self-worth. That is, those externals are filling a gap in your life. They are filling the hollowness of your heart because you're only getting satisfaction. So workaholics are only getting satisfaction from the external work that they're performing. But the life has to be an all-encompassing, balanced life where there is work, where there is time for spiritual activities, where there is time for social activities, where there is time for family, where there is time for some personal, growth. Spend some time on your hobbies. Sometimes spend some time on your physical health, exercise. All those things. So it has to be a very well balanced, a 360-degree growth, and not just a unidimensional effort. So if it becomes a unidimensional effort, then it starts affecting other dimensions of your life. And similarly, like there are, we discussed, there are just alcoholic hote hain, so there are shopaholics who are just accumulating too much, even though they don't need those. So they're just satisfying themselves from the external things that they are accumulating. That's their measure of self-worth. That's how they feel satisfied. But remember, this is just an escape. And oftentimes it is glamorized in this world that, oh, wo bahut kaam karta hai. That is not something to be very boastful of. That is not something very a very good trait necessarily if he's not able to contribute time to their family or spiritual growth and all this. So we have to, in this way, there is no perfect formula for everyone. You cannot say I will plug so many number of hours and this is a perfect formula. No, every person has their individual capacity, their individual time management skills, their organizational skills, their efficiencies, their tendencies, their certain material capacity that they have to meet before they can actually even engage in spiritual activities. So we have to ultimately organize, readjust our life in such a way that we perform material activities so that they feed our spiritual activities, they nourish our spiritual life. Keep spiritual life in the center, and material life is the periphery that is nourishing spiritual life. But if it starts harming spiritual life, then it's a problem. So these are some of the concepts we had discussed about Atyahar and Prayas. Now we have to read from Atyahar Prayas ke baad aayega Prajalpa. But let's read Prabhupada's purport thoda. We have to read from this paragraph. And we had discussed Varnashram Dharma, that in previous times, Varnashram Dharma was practiced in which everybody knew the importance of spiritual life right from the very beginning. So they were not engaging in these practices of over-accumulating, over-endeavoring in this world or talking unnecessarily. They knew what is the principle, what is the goal of life, and how to make their life, how to structure their life in such a way that there is constant spiritual growth. So all the ashramas and varnas were acting in coordination so that there is constant spiritual growth personally and as well as in community, society, and country. So that is how Varnashram system was organized. But that has all fallen apart, and now there is no such teachings given from childhood. So we have to learn at a very later age. And by this time, we are set in our ways. So we have to now restructure our life in such a way that material and spiritual life can be balanced, and there is no Atyahar and Prayas. Before we take any questions and further discussion, let's read this paragraph. Who would like to read? Please take
I
turns.
can read, Mataji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. As stated above, dharmasya hi aparvargasya nartho artho arthayopakalpate. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement, but that is far from the purpose of true dharma. Religion entails understanding the laws of God because the proper execution of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of atyahara, or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessities of material existence. Jivasya tattva jitnasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, prayasa, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor.
Very cool.
Hare Krishna.
So here Prabhupada is describing that even dharma has been misdirected into atyahar and prayas. Like people are using religion, like they will ask so many things from Devi Devtas or perform so many yajna, sacrifices, charity, pious acts to get more material prosperity. So Prabhupada is saying that is not the purpose of religion. So this is I don't think in devotional communities, especially this point is very important. I think you understand this. So Prabhupada is saying that our efforts, our prayas should be dovetailed towards acquiring spiritual realization, to inquire about the absolute truth, because that is the first instruction of Vedanta Sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Here Prabhupada is quoting Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa. That is the purpose for which human life has been given. So if we waste that human life in just all these material accomplishments and even using dharma for this purpose, then that is a very bad situation. So we have limited time in human life, and it is given for tattva jigyasa. So we have to invest it wisely. So isliye just fulfill your basic needs, maintain the body and soul together, and you can fulfill some material ambitions. But extra ambitions which will destroy your spiritual life is actually called ugra karma. So I've heard devotees call even extra ambitions in this world, which deviate you from spiritual life, actually ugra karma, because it is taking time away from spiritual activities. So it is said, another term I really like in this regard is, it is said, we can decide how much anxiety we want to take in this world. We should take spiritual anxieties more and more, and material anxieties we should try to minimize. So there is manageable anxiety versus unmanageable anxiety. So when your anxiety in the material world, like the way you are working, the people you're working with, where you are working, community where you're living, all these material aspects of the life, if they cause unmanageable anxiety, then that is a problem. Then that's the time to readjust things. If they're taking time away from your spiritual life and leading to unmanageable anxiety, that means maybe we need to discuss with our seniors, superiors, and refigure some things out. We need to do something different in material world. So in material world, you have to engage in such a way that the anxiety is manageable. And of course, everybody's threshold for anxiety is different. So you have to see what is causing you to get distracted from spiritual life. So everybody has different standard of living, different threshold of anxiety. What is my level of anxiety? Where should I draw the line and not let the material world impinge on my spiritual life? Because like we discuss always, the main thing is to keep the main thing. And our main thing is spiritual life. Tattva jigyasa, self-realization, attaining absolute truth. That is our main thing. So if there are things in this world that are taking us away from that main thing, then maybe those things need to be readjusted, refigured, okay, restructured. So that is, let's keep reading more, and then I want to come to the discussion of Niyamagraha, because I think that's very important discussion. Please keep reading. Let's read next paragraph. Who wants to read? Okay, I can read. Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding just like croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men retired from active life play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political schemes. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. Intelligent persons interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. So, Prajalpa, I think this concept everybody understands. Jalpa means speech, and Prajalpa means unfavorable speech. So, unnecessary talking. And Prabhupada, just like in last verse, he compared it to croaking of toads. और क्या होता है जब toads croak करते हैं फालतू में रात में? What happens? What did Prabhupada say in the last purport?
It attracts the snakes.
It attracts the snake.
Yeah, they're attracting their death.
Yeah. तो फालतू में croak कर रहे हैं. It attracts the snake and they are inviting death. They're inviting the snake. या snake मुझे खा, और वो आके खा जाता है. So इस तरीके से जो फालतू की unnecessary talking, like gossiping, blaspheming, and in devotional, Prabhupada is talking here about mundane subject matters like newspaper में. ठीक है, we should be aware, we should be informed, we should always be well informed. Devotees of Krishna are very intelligent, but like again, we are understanding how much to engage in this world. तो उतना ही लेना है newspaper से, news से, magazine से, novel से. That will nourish your spiritual life. some things may be inspiring in the material world also that we can channel towards spiritual life. So then you can take that much. But too much engagement, too much reading newspapers, too much talking to worldly minded people who have nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, what they will do is they will distract you, right? So especially for new practitioner, Prajalpa is very, very, I mean, not only new, in devotional circle, anywhere in devotional circle, blaspheming the devotees, spreading rumors, gossip mongering, that is called, what offense is that called? There is a name for that offense. Offensive behavior towards devotees, Prajalpa against devotees.
Mad elephant.
Mad elephant. Can you explain that, Nagachandra? What is mad elephant offense? Please, everybody remember this term, mad elephant offense. Prabhupada mentions this many times. What does it mean?
So yes, so just like a mad elephant, let's say a mad elephant gets into a garden and it destroys the whole garden. It uproots the trees, and you can't. Everything is just like destroyed because of it. Because a mad elephant has entered a beautiful garden. It is uprooting trees, uprooting plants, trampling flowers, things like that. Similarly, if and when we are blaspheming devotees, if we are doing Vaishnava Prad, that is called as a mad elephant offense, because it tramples our growing seedling of Bhakti Lata Beej. So it tramples like a mad elephant who enters a garden and tramples on flowers and things, and uproots the trees. It is uprooting our bhakti, and it's destroying the beautiful garden of bhakti that we are trying to cultivate in our heart. It is like a mad elephant has entered into it and is destroying all of it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, please everybody remember this term, mad elephant offense. It's like pagal hathi ki tarah. So it is very dangerous. It is actually very disturbing. The whole, communities get destroyed by these type of offenses. So this is very contaminating, very damaging. You all.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry, I want to just add one more. So it
Yes,
also adds to the Nama Prad. So we will not be able to chant very nicely after we do those offenses. Actually, when we think that way, we are not able to chant. It's basically we are done some of the Nama Prad.
Very important point. And we discussed this last class also. Everything we do in spiritual life is to improve our chanting. So if we are not able to improve our chanting, because we are engaging so much with the world, then that is harmful. So anything that destroys our chanting should be in the center of our spiritual life. Spiritual life is in the center, and for Krishna consciousness, chanting is in the center of that spiritual life. So everything should nourish that chanting. So anything that is causing you to get distracted during chanting, इसका मतलब आपके दिमाग में कुछ भरा हुआ है, which is a problem. So yeah, so very contaminating. And you all remember that famous story. I'll just quickly mention that story. कि एक सब हिंदी समझते हैं ना, मैं हिंदी में बोलती हूँ, right? Yeah. एक बार एक राजा ने पूरे शहर के लिए खिचड़ी बनवाई. So खिचड़ी बहुत बड़े पॉट में खिचड़ी बन रही थी, हाँ. And he was going to serve everyone खिचड़ी, free खिचड़ी, है ना. He was making खिचड़ी for everyone. तो क्या हुआ, जब खिचड़ी बन रही थी तो ऊपर से there was a eagle going, और eagle fly कर रहा था. Eagle के माउथ में एक dead snake था. उस dead snake के माउथ से कुछ एक दो बूंद कुछ poison की उस खिचड़ी में गिर गई. But that poison was so potent, या that snake was so potent था poison उसका, कि वो पूरी खिचड़ी उस एक दो बूंद से contaminate हो गई. And when that khichdi was distributed among people immediately started dying. People started dying. So बहुत सारे लोग मर गए उससे. तो अब क्या हुआ कि यमदूतास आए, because यमदूतास आते हैं जब कोई मरता है. So they wanted to figure out this great sin has happened, like many brahmanas died. Who should we punish for this crime, for this sin, for this crime? तो किसको पनिश करे, समझ नहीं आ रहा था. यमदूतास were very confused. राजा ने खिचड़ी बनाई तो राजा को पनिश करें क्योंकि राजा ने बनाई थी, लेकिन राजा ने तो इतना अच्छा काम कर रहा था, वो तो सबको खिचड़ी खिला रहा था, तो उसको क्यों पनिश करें, उसकी तो कोई इंटेंशन नहीं थी कुछ गलत, तो उसको तो पता भी नहीं कि कब वो पॉइजनस हो गई. तो क्या ईगल को पनिश करे, क्योंकि ईगल वो लेके जा रहा था डेड स्नेक, लेकिन ईगल तो है ही बर्ड ऑफ प्रे, यू नो, ही इज अ बर्ड ऑफ प्रे, ही विल कैरी द, he did not know there was a pot of खिचड़ी underneath, he did not know that. उसका तो काम है अपना सांप को, मरे हुए सांप को लेके जाने में क्या प्रॉब्लम है? तो फिर क्या सांप को ब्लेम करें, सांप को पकड़ें? पर सांप तो ऑलरेडी मरा हुआ था, he did not, poor guy did not even know that उसके माउथ से poison drip हो रहा है, he was already killed by the eagle. So Yamdutas were very confused. What should we do? Whose fault is it? Who should be blamed? So at that point, they saw that this lady, she was telling everyone, you know, I know who poisoned the khichdi. I think Raja meant to poison us. Raja meant to kill all these brahmanas. That's why he fed them poisonous kheer. It's the Raja, it's the king that has done it. So when Yamduta saw that, they said, we got our culprit. We'll catch this lady. So not the Raja was not the problem, the eagle was not the problem, the snake was not the problem. The problem was the lady that was spreading the rumors, the gossips about who is to be blamed, because it was not her position to blame anybody, right? So in this way, you know, this type of prajalpa, especially amongst devotee communities, spiritual communities, we have to be very careful. Unless, again, everything has to be, our speech has to be very much regulated. Unnecessary talking is not recommended. And people have taken to so many ways to express their grievances. Like they will take to online, they will write mails, emails, chats. They will write on the internet, like on YouTube videos. People will write some. I've read so many times, like great Maharaja's classes. If you go to read the comments, there are some offensive people who will write all kinds of things. So people are expressing their speech in so many ways, even by writing, even by reading. Prabhupada is saying reading and writing, that is also prajalpa. If it's not about, if it's not helping you advance in your spiritual consciousness, if it's damaging your consciousness and the consciousness of other people, then that is bhaktir vinashyati. So se bhakti ka nash hota hai. Let's keep reading. Thoda aur padhte hain. Who wants to read the next paragraph?
Yes,
Yes, Namita Mataji, go ahead.
Jan Sangha refers to associating with persons not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna conscious devotees. Bhakta Sen Vasa. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in that business. Consequently, materialistic persons from various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such institutions as the Stock Exchange and Chamber of Commerce. Similarly, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. This spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. So this is talking about Jan Sangha. So Sangha means association and Jana means ordinary people. So we discussed about a word last time in last class, a word called Kripan. Kripan. Anybody knows what does Kripan means? Who can mention?
We talked about it, that it means miserly. Conjuice. Yeah.
It's conjuice.
Conjuice, yes. So in this sense, what does it mean? Yes, Nagachan Prabhu?
Kripan.
Kripan or Kripan, yes. So Kripan means, go ahead.
Yes. So Kripan means miserly, and one who's
one who is only concerned with short term or temporary.
Yeah, short term outcome. Yes.
Short, like he's only concerned with prayas, not with shreyas. So he is only concerned with the body or with the temporary situations, immediate. He does not look at, he does not understand the greater good. He does not understand the long-term goals, the shreyas. So these are kripan people. These jana are, the jana here are not, like I said, not Vishnu jan, not devotee jan, not sajatiya people. So not bhurida jana. Gopi say in Gopi Geet, bhurida jana. Bhurida jana means, right? Tav kathamritam. In that verse, they say bhurida jana. Bhurida means most merciful people. But these people are not merciful. They're very ordinary, worldly minded people, miserly, kripan people who are only concerned with short-term gains, even at the expense of long-term loss. So इन लोगों की संगति से आपका long-term में loss होगा. इन लोगों की संगति से आपको नुकसान होगा. This is something to understand. Okay, so because they are kripan people, तो ये सिर्फ आपका शॉर्ट टर्म में आपको enjoyment दे सकते हैं, थोड़ा sense gratification, थोड़ा mental gratification, थोड़ा you know इनके साथ gossiping, थोड़ा fun होगा, but in long run these people can cause a lot of damage by their constant association, by getting inspired from them. So जन का मतलब आपको समझ आ गया. जन मतलब ordinary people, कृपाण people, worldly minded people, not concerned with the greater good of spiritual advancement, not concerned with the soul at all, just concerned with the body and the world. Okay, those are the jana being referred to here. Okay, और जो devotees होते हैं उनको बोलते हैं सजातिया. सजातिया मतलब like-minded people. People that are concerned with their highest welfare, people that are concerned with the highest growth, okay? Spiritual people. Those are sajatiya people. जो जिनकी same जाति है. जैसे हमारी जाति क्या है? जब हम temples जाते हैं ना, when you go to Vrindavan or Jagannath Puri or Mayapur, anywhere you go in the temples, they will ask you कि क्या गोत्र है, क्या जाति है. तो हम लोग कौन सी जाति के हैं? हम लोग Krishna devotees हैं. We are all belonging to, like I will say my Guru Maharaj's name. Ki, I belong to that jati. So that's my jati that I belong to. I'm a Krishna devotee. But so they are sajatiya people. So sajatiya logo ka sanga karna chahiye. Now sanga means what? Sanga means association. So now sometimes in the beginning people don't understand कि क्या हम सब कुछ छोड़ दें, सब लोगों से मिलना जुलना छोड़ दें at our profession, at our family. There are many non-devotees that are not sajatiya. We are mixing with them, we are meeting with them. So what should we do? So sangha means to attach with people in such a way that they are able to influence you. They are able to attract you towards them. They are able to take their association and not to give them association. So getting emotionally associated with them, अपना heart देना उन लोगों को. Heart we should give to devotees, okay? But Jana Sangha mein you can maintain some materialistic association in a very careful manner, in a very meticulously choosing your association. You can maintain some association as long as they don't change your faith, as long as they don't destroy your faith, as long as they do not create doubts in your mind, as long as they do not damage your intelligence, as long as they do not again, like Nagarchand Prabhu was saying, faith is very soft. Bhakti Lata Beej is very soft. It is all situated on faith. तो अगर आपका किसी ने faith हिला दिया, अगर आपका किसी ने ऐसे doubts डाल दिए आपके दिमाग में जो unshakable doubts हैं, then they can destroy your bhakti. So you can give them association, you can influence other people, you can inspire them, but don't take their association. Don't get inspired by them. Don't get influenced by them. Do not give your heart, okay, to them. So emotional association or inspirational association, getting attracted to their lifestyle, to their engagements, that is what destroys the bhakti. It's not about physical proximity. जैसे कि अगर एक एग्जाम्पल आता है कि जैसे प्रभुपाद बैठे हैं, प्रभुपाद के चारों तरफ कोई मक्खी घूम रही है. मक्खी is very physically close to the guru, to Prabhupada, to the guru, to a senior devotee. The makhi is very close, but makhi is not getting inspired by that devotee. Meaning, meaning ki physical proximity does not matter. It's not that you are physically close to somebody. You could be distant to someone, but you are taking association from them over phone. You're taking association from them through TV, through books, through internet, right? So through basically through YouTube. So you can get association not just by physical proximity. It's not the bodily association that matters. क्योंकि मक्खी भी प्रभुपाद के बहुत पास है, पर ऐसा नहीं कि मक्खी स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस हो गई है. तो पास होना मैटर नहीं करता. What matters is अपना इमोशनल एसोसिएशन हो जाना, इंस्पिरेशन लेना लोगों से, उनके साथ जब वो इंजॉय करते हैं, you're actually enjoying in such a way that every time you enjoy with materialistic people and you feel very inspired by them, it changes your devotional aspirations, it changes your devotional desires. So you develop sometimes non-devotional desires कि मैं भी ये करूं, मैं भी वो करूं. Sometimes it is so harmful that it can even create anti-devotional desires. Non-devotional तो ठीक है, anti-devotional desires भी हो सकती हैं create. So you have to be very careful. It can cause a lot of disturbance in one's spiritual life. Some people, they can damage your faith. तो इसीलिए जैसे अजामिल की कहानी आती है, अजामिल का क्या था? He just by looking at them, he got inspired that मैं भी ये करूं जो ये लोग कर रहे हैं. So he lost his intelligence. क्योंकि just by focusing on something, somebody's activities, somebody's engagements, you are getting inspired. ध्यायतो विषयान पुंसा. तो हमें विषय जो होते हैं सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स के साथ बहुत केयरफुली एंगेज करना चाहिए. और क्योंकि ये लोग सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स के साथ बहुत फ्रीली एंगेज करते हैं, तो थ्रू देम वी आर आल्सो फ्रीली एंगेजिंग विद सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स. So they can instill doubts towards scriptures, towards devotees in your head. Devotees के against doubts आ जाएंगे, scriptures के against doubt आ जाएंगे, भगवान के against doubts आ जाएंगे. और कई बार in this world, faith is very easy to destroy, and doubts are very difficult sometimes to get rid of. They're weeds. Especially as new people, neophytes should definitely, they will not be able to uphold themselves against people. So they will not be able to refute other people. तो इसलिए जो मध्यम अधिकारी होते हैं, they're very intelligent. They avoid certain company, certain people that can inspire you. That's Hema Mataji, did you want to share something or ask a question? We've not heard from you today. Or anybody else has any? I think
Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry, I was trying to figure out this Zoom.
Sure.
No, Hare Krishna. No, I I think that balance, the struggle is real. The balance between pursuing and achieving ambitions and not getting too much into them is always a struggle. Sometimes it's so easy to be derailed. In every moment to moment. So I think that struggle is there. So it's nice. This is a reminder, and always, as we said, as you said, bhakti has to be in the center all the time. So, and japa, I think my basic thing is just coming back to the quality of japa. I think if I can achieve that, even a little percentage of that in an improved quality with all these distractions around, and all the desires in the heart. It's inspiring to just listen every time. I think it just builds up some momentum. So thank you for the class. It was great. Even I don't attend all of it completely, but every time I attend, I feel like why didn't I start from the start?
Yes, Madhuri, these are very nice concepts. These concepts are not given so clearly in even in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada doesn't mention these concepts are given in these small books. That's why I think we should all read this book, because बहुत सारे हमारे doubts clear हो जाएंगे. बहुत सारे practical how to work in this world, how to be in this world, how a soul should live in this world. Those points get very nicely cleared up actually. अभी तो ये जो शुरू की 4 verses हैं, they are so amazing. That's why I'm spending so much time on them. So so this is about Jan Sangha. So this is called, this concept that we are understanding, this is called selective participation in this world. Okay, selective participation, very careful approach, very calculated approach. So this takes, if you remember in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says Vyavasyatmika buddhi samadhavana vidyate. So Vyavasyatmika buddhi, we should have business minded intelligence. Since we have understood that the main business of human life is Krishna consciousness, spiritual advancement, वो हमारा main business है. That is our business. सजातीय लोगों का family business है. This is our main business. तो जो व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि होती है, they should have a very calculated approach. They should limit the engagement with this world only to the extent that the world or the body nourishes the soul and gives eternal benefit. बस उतना ही engage करना है इस दुनिया में, जितना calculated approach रखनी है. कितना नुकसान कितना फायदा, ठीक है, फायदा नुकसान देखना है. क्योंकि इन्वेस्टमेंट इन मटेरियल वर्ल्ड इज इक्वल टू हाउ मच रिटर्न यू गेट इन मटेरियल वर्ल्ड. अगर सिर्फ मटेरियल एंगेजमेंट है, कितना रिटर्न मिलता है उसका जीरो रिटर्न. ठीक है, तो हमको जीरो क्या, इनफैक्ट नेगेटिव, हम तो ये समझ रहे हैं ना, नेगेटिव हो सकता है, विनाश हो सकता है. तो एक्चुअली नेगेटिव जो हमारा मेन बिजनेस है उसको लॉस होगा, हमारी चैंटिंग को डैमेज होगा, हमारे स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ को डैमेज होगा, हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस को डैमेज होगा. सो नॉट ओनली जीरो रिटर्न, इट्स एक्चुअली नेगेटिव, इट्स अ लॉस. सो इन्वेस्टमेंट इन मटेरियल वर्ल्ड इज इक्वल टू लॉस. तो यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इन मटेरियल वर्ल्ड ओनली टू द एक्सटेंट दैट इज इन जॉइंट अकाउंट विद कृष्णा, कि जितना कृष्णा के साथ जॉइंटली हम थोड़ा केयरफुली कर सकते हैं, तभी this world will give you some positive return, some gains. Otherwise it's only loss. Okay, so limit your investment in this world without Krishna. With Krishna you can invest in this world, but without Krishna any investment in this world is leading to loss. Okay, it will lead to, it is risky business. So एक word होता है जो हमारे गुरु महाराज बहुत बोलते हैं, divestment, जैसे होता है इन्वेस्टमेंट. सो डाइवेस्टमेंट करनी चाहिए, मतलब केयरफुली विड्रॉइंग योर इन्वेस्टमेंट फ्रॉम दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड. इस दुनिया में से कुछ चीजें को हटा लो, उसको बोलते हैं डाइवेस्टमेंट, क्योंकि कुछ फायदा नहीं हो रहा. जैसे कई बार ना बिजनेसेस जो होते हैं, जैसे हमारा क्लिनिक भी है, बिजनेस है, वो इतना फैल जाते हैं कि कई जगह पे, जैसे उन्होंने कहीं पे अपना क्लिनिक खोल लिया which is not bringing any good returns, तो फिर वो बंद कर देते हैं कि it is actually a loss to the main business, उसको बंद कर दो. That is called divestment. That is for the greater good, because main business को फायदा होगा उस छोटे business को हटा लेने से. So उसको बोलते हैं divestment. So this concept needs to be applied in spiritual life also. Divest from the material world. थोड़ा यहाँ से इधर से जगह की बेकार की जो चीजें हैं उनमें से हट जाओ, divest हो जाओ, हटा लो अपना stake, remove your stake from those aspects of the material world which are not in joint account with Krishna, क्योंकि वहां से loss ही loss होने वाला है. ठीक है, तो थोड़ा carefully invest in this world, only to the extent that it will give you some benefit. और थोड़ा बहुत losses हम फिर भी लेते हैं, लेकिन ज्यादा व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि मतलब profit करना आना चाहिए. So we have to make best use of a bad bargain. So we have to make profit in this, through this body, through this world, we have to gain something, and the gain is spiritual gain. How can we make that spiritual gain while living in this material world? These verses are telling you that. So इसलिए very selective participation, very calculated approach, and limit your engagement. This is the gist of the matter. I don't think we could get to नियमाग्रह. So जन संज्ञा पे हमने किया, नियमाग्रह actually उससे पहले था, but maybe Prabhupada is coming to it in the next. Let's if we have 5 more minutes, actually let's just discuss, because we can finish this purport next time and discuss नियमाग्रह next time. नियमाग्रह and लौल्यम is remaining. जन संज्ञा हो गया. जन संज्ञा के बारे में एक बात और आती है कि, you know, this world is full of lies, right? There are so many lies being told in this world. We did a class, I don't know if you remember, last year, about paradigm shifts. कि the world tells you so many lies, but the scriptural truths are you know, with those you can defeat those lies. So world is full of lies. तो जब आप इस दुनिया में जितना engage करोगे, जनसंघा करोगे, दुनिया के लोगों से मिलोगे, then you will be hearing more lies. You will be feeding yourself more lies of this world. So you can fight that off with Param Satya. Absolute truth, or Param Satya is Krishna. So we have to see how much we want to engage with the lies of this world versus the absolute truth. So we need to increase our engagements with absolute truth and cut out our engagements, our distractions, our problems that are caused by the lies of this world. So very carefully guard against Maya. The example of Kekai and mantra also comes in Jansangha, that by associating with ordinary people, worldly people like mantra, even a great devotee like Kekai was, drove the Lord away. So Jansangha can be very dangerous, very disturbing, very damaging to one's bhakti. Let's take some questions and some realizations. Who wants to share anything they learned in this class or any points? There are a lot of points. There can be a whole 360-degree discussion on each of these points we discussed.
Mataji, just want to share something.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So in Atyahara, and then we bring Ati Prayas, right? So in that one, sometimes, even the engaging too much, getting too much into the devotional side of the things, for example, like, getting into more restrictive ourselves, that also sometimes hurts. What I saw was, like, when we went to this time to India, in one of Ayurveda center, there are a few devotees also. The Ayurveda doctor was saying that a lot of devotees come to him because of so much issues with them. Like, they get up in the morning, they eat prasadam, and then they're waiting till finishing their chanting, and then they're not able to focus on their body also, and then they get into a different issues sometimes, and then that also need to be looked at, in all the, so looking at the balancing side. Just wanted to share that.
Yes, Prabhuji, there are that is why we are saying constantly that there is a 360-degree growth, multidimensional growth. You have to take care of the body, because body is a tool that is given for spiritual advancement. So we are not saying to overeat or not eat at all. We are saying to limit our eating. We're not saying to not exercise at all or spend so much time in the body, be so bodily conscious that, oh, I have to have 6 packs and many other things, spending 2 hours in the gym every day. So we're not saying that either. But yes, there should be exercise. There should be taking care of the health. Similarly with health also, if there are some ailments, then you need to go to the doctor, you need to take your medicine, if you need a surgery, you need all those things, because body is a tool that can get damaged and that needs to be fixed. Just like any other vehicle, it's a vehicle for the soul. So so we are constantly talking about this being a practical approach where you don't do excess, but you don't do nil either. And remember, excessive engagement in material world will probably cause more damage than excessive engagement in spiritual world, because that person is uncontrollably drinking alcohol or eating meat. And those people, yes, devotees will have, ultimately everybody's body will decline. So devotees will also have some bodily issues, no doubt. But if they were not following the devotional lifestyle and were unlimitedly drinking and eating and going out and sleeping late in the night, so we are saying waking up early in the morning causing damage, but what about sleeping late in the night causing much more damage? So maybe they made it to 60 years of age, but if they had followed with their original lifestyle, they probably died at 40 or 30. So we are always, yes, we are always talking about balance, you're right. But if you look at people's life in general, there is no balance. There is always, it's not like they're doing 50-50 spiritual and material activities. They're doing 99.9% of material activities and only 0.01% of spiritual activities. That's not a balance. So, so balancing does not mean that only 1% of spiritual life and 9%.
Yes,
but it has to be, because people often, worldly minded people often get away with this, that हम करते हैं, हम इतना तो करते हैं, but बाकी सारा time they're still engaged in all their worldly activities. So in the name of balance also, sometimes we tend to lean towards just materialistic activities and neglect. The first thing that gets neglected is spiritual activities. So yes, we should balance, but we should know what balance is. Balance is 50-50. Balance is not 99 and 1. Balance is not 70 and 30. So that's why to each his own, they all have to see, are we able to justify what we are doing in our life? How much we are, how much spiritual activities versus material activities we are doing. But you brought up a very nice point. The whole struggle in this life is to bring life to the center. जैसे कि ऐसा बोलते हैं कि जब एयरप्लेन चलाता है पायलट, तो एयरप्लेन जो है वो it is off the course maximum time. And the whole time pilot is just struggling to bring it to center, क्योंकि weather conditions की वजह से, atmosphere, wind speed, ये वो, उसकी वजह से the whole time the airplane is off the course, but he's constantly trying to bring it to the center. So as long as we are aware that spiritual life is the center and we have to keep bringing ourselves back to the center. ऐसे ही जो डंडा लेके चलते हैं ना लोग रस्सी पे, वो भी बैलेंस करते हैं, कभी इधर, but constantly the goal is to stay on the rope. So as long as you're staying on the rope, you understand that this Krishna consciousness is the rope and I'm going to stay on the rope.
Yes. Right, nicely said. I think the main message is that there are some of the criterias that we have to stick on, and we should not overdo that. And then at the same time, we cannot compromise on our devotional activities for that matter.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Okay. Looks like Ravi Prabhu is sharing something. Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for always taking the time and enlightening us. I like your point, Mataji, of Janasangha that you mentioned. Janasangha is not only in physical, even in a digital form, like watching TV, YouTube, Instagram, all those nowadays is so easy to get access to. And that point is very, like I liked it, because sometimes we are not physically associating, but we are putting those information in our head, and it is kind of disturbing the bhakti.
Yes, Prabhuji. So even mental and intellectual level pe bhi jo association hai, that is association, that is sangha, not just physical proximity.
And also, Mataji, the other point that I have, like, even like in our community, we will never find where people will have more ratio of spiritual people or the spiritual services or people who are in bhakti. The ratio will always be very less. So in that situation, this is my personal kind of analysis. We should not completely again, balance is the key, but we should also go. So at least they're feeling, because sometimes they have a fear that if I enter the devotional life, then I'll have to live like that person who basically used to come and do everything, but now he's not coming, he's not doing. So that fear ko hatane ke liye, like we should also balance it out, jana chahiye thoda. And but again, the point here, give them our association instead of taking their association. Hari Bol.
So Prabhuji, that point, it really depends how much you think you can influence other people and how much time you have in your life. So if you have that much time where you can engage with the worldly minded people every single time to inspire them, influence them, then yes, you can. But if the time is limited, we have to invest our time wisely, because we have very limited time in this body, in this world. Secondly, there are people that you can only give the taste for this. You cannot force them into anything. You have tested the waters, you have tested that these people, I'm not able to inspire. I'm not able to encourage them into following anything. And they are not ready for my association. So just by associating frivolously on a social basis, I may be just spoiling my consciousness, but it will not make a dent in their consciousness at all. So am I ready? Am I that advanced that I can make a dent in their consciousness? Personally speaking, I am not. Number one. Number two, I think if we have given enough taste, if we have tested the waters and it is not helping, then maybe we need to put them in touch with the spiritual superiors who can make some, make some changes. But we should not be forcing other people or imposing our association on other people in the name and wasting our time compromising on our own sadhana. So first of all, you're answerable to yourself and to Krishna. It is between you and Krishna. Am I really going to inspire them, or at some level I'm actually just enjoying their association? Number one. Number two, I'm going in the name of giving them my association, but I'm also compromising my sadhana. I'm not able to finish my 16 rounds. I'm not able to read and hear or finish those commitments that I've made, the vows that I've made. So do I really need to impress these people and prove to them that I'm still the same person and nothing has changed? No, things have changed. I have developed higher taste. So maybe the lower taste does not inspire me as much. So in this way, we have to balance. You're right, we have to balance. But not at the cost of compromising, like Ramesh Prabhu said, not at the cost of compromising our basic standards. And really introspect, am I really going to give them association? Have I not tried enough and it has not worked? Maybe it's time to put them in association of superior people. And number three, at subtle level, am I just enjoying their company and getting influenced by them? And maybe I am a very much neophyte who can get influenced by their company. So those things we have to introspect, but engage wisely and not recklessly. So very limited time. And when we understand the importance of time, we will see that everybody has their own journey and we will not be able to influence their journey. It will be difficult to convince other people until we are convinced ourselves. So is it really my job to keep convincing the envious or atheistic people? I would rather invest my time in convincing people that are simple-minded.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That's my take on this. Hari Bol. Yes, Nagarjuna Prabhu, please share.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I just wanted to mention one more thing. I think it's a good practical discussion that we are having. So what I've also noticed is, Krishna also says that not to spend time on people who are envious. One of the 10, in the mornings we mentioned in the temples, we always do 10 offenses. So one of the offense is to discuss about Krishna to people who are envious. What is the offense? What is the actual one? Can you pull it up, please?
Yes.
9th or 10th offense. 9th offense, I think. So my point is that sometimes it is not beneficial to give Krishna consciousness to people who are not ready for it. And it may do opposite to what you are saying, Prabhu. Instead of encouraging them that, see, this person is doing both, it may actually discourage them that, see, this person just comes and always starts giving me knowledge. I don't want it. So I don't want to associate. So it may actually create a bad taste. And that is what the 9th offense that I'm talking about is. Did you pull it up?
Yes. Yes, number 9.
The 9th offense, right? It is an offense to the auspicious. Which one is this? Shiva is not mentioned in that. I don't know where this is from.
No, this is holy. This auspicious means Shiva.
Okay. Holy
This
name
is
to instruct a person who is devoid of faith, oblivious to Bhagwan, and disinterested in hearing. This is not the usual wordings that we use, but it is. ISKCON desire to have. Yes. Okay. So to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. So here it is also mentioned that a person, if you're going to a place where the group of people who have, like Nārangi is saying, already got the taste and have had ample opportunities of not of actually coming to Krishna, but they're faithless. They do not want that right now. As Nārangi was saying, everyone has their own journey. Then if we try to give them Krishna consciousness, it is actually going to backfire, that they are going to feel, oh, they're going to actually rather be inspired, they will be against that. Oh, look at, this person will again tell me about Krishna. Right, and they will actually create offenses. So it's actually not helping them. It is worsening their journey, because now they are doing offense against a devotee. So that is why, so I had, initially I thought a lot about this offense. We have had classes about this offense in the past, and had great details with senior devotees about these kind of things, because it was very confusing to me. Because one, we are saying this is a preaching mission. We should talk about Krishna. We should discuss about Krishna, Tushanti cha Ramanti cha. But that is amongst devotees, not amongst people who are faithless. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. And also we have to try to aspire to become Madhyam Adhikari, and Madhyam Adhikari carefully avoids the atheistic people, and they preach to simple people, and they have loving relationships with the friends, with the like-minded, like people that are at same level. They have loving, friendly relationships, and they give their heart to, they love the spiritual master in Krishna. Anyways, but yeah, everything is a balanced approach. So like we said, all of this is very individual. I keep saying that it is very individual. It is very personal. You have to look at your circumstances. We're not saying to cut off ties with people that were old friends. We are saying to engage very carefully in a pleasing, tasteful way that will inspire them, not get inspired by them. And we don't need to attend each and every assembly. We can make best use of our time and still keep the center, give priority to your sadhana. If our sadhana is so wonderful, we are finishing our rounds in the morning, reading, hearing very diligently, everything is going on nicely, then maybe we can, make some time for the social assemblies, where again, we don't take their association, but give our association to the extent that is helpful to us and to them. Okay, we've exceeded the time. Is there any more questions, realizations, comments? Okay, shall we stop? The main topic still is pending, the Niyamagraha, which is the most difficult one to understand. And all of us are faulty of committing Niyamagraha, which is जिससे भक्ति का विनाश होता है. So Niyamagraha के दो parts हैं, Niyam Agraha and Niyama Agraha. Both we have to understand in detail. So we'll take that next time. Anybody else? Namita Mataji, Hema Mataji, Sheetal Mataji, Rekha Mataji.
I'm good. It was wonderful class, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, we'll stop then. I can stop the recording. Vancha kalptarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Updeshamrit ki jai.
Jai.